Oh, man, that was a nice holiday, wasn't it? You and I out wherever we went. Well, it seems you have quite a lot to unpack. Hello everyone, Rich here, your go-to for Doctor Who from WhatCulture.com, and holy canon-altering Batman, that was quite something, eh? The Timeless Children delivered more than we could possibly have asked for. How do you take and digest that new information? That's up to you. It looks to be that this has split people directly down the middle. Either you love what's been added to Doctor Who, or you'll resent old chibbers for the rest of your life. I am actually in the I don't hate this yet ballpark. Before you start commenting calling me a fake Whovian and how What Culture needs to get someone better because I'm obviously paid by the BBC and I don't hate everything about the new series because it's what real Whovians do, just hear me out. I'm not saying this whole new thing is perfect or even good, but I don't think it's as bad as some people have angrily tweeted about it think. Anyway, most of the ups or downs are more like an overall looking back at the episode as a whole, so I'm just gonna breeze through the story itself. I say that, I know how long the script is, it's not a breeze, we're just gonna try and get to the meat of it. So what in the hell just happened? Green, red. I'm skipping the rhyme because we've got a whole new era that until now has been left unsaid. No way, that actually worked. Recap. Graham, Yaz, Rovio, and the other two trapped on the cyber carrier with the cyber warriors blasting all over the place. The Doctor stood with Ryan, Ethan, and Koshamas looking through the boundary to see Gallifrey, but the Master jumps through and says everything is about to change. All caught up? Good. The Master takes the Doctor through to a still burning Gallifrey. He says he'll take her on a tour and tell her all the things she currently doesn't know. Meanwhile, 4 out of the 5 crew on the cyber carrier escape. Sorry, Bestcott, you're dead. Graham comes up with the great plan of clearing out 4 cyber suits and escaping the ship, hopefully undetected as Cybermen. Foolproof. Absolutely. The cyber carrier arrives above Koshamas. Ryan, Ethan, and Koshamas, the old bloke not the planet, are armed and ready. The Master FaceTimes the lone Cyberman, gifting him Gallifrey and a new, incredibly beautiful ally in the form of himself. Half-baked Cyber Dude sends down 3 execution units to the planet to take down the 3 remaining humans. That's like 6 Cybermen per human. Piece of piss. That's it. Bye, Ryan. But once he sent his death squads off, the Cyber Twins inform Lone Lad that someone's doing some unwanted tinkering down in Deep Storage Vault Micron Alpha. Yep, it's Rovio pulling chunks of what used to be human out of a cyber suit. While this is happening, we get this odd-tasting heart-to-heart between Graham and Yaz. As said last week, our 3 companions are in some genuine danger, so they're thinking, yep, this could be it. So Graham tells Yaz about how incredible she is, more incredible than the Doctor herself. Not giving this either or here, but I felt this was a bit odd. Graham and Yaz have never really done a huge amount together, so this kind of felt hollow since it's only come up since they might die. Yeah, might just be me. So yeah, Lone Lad comes down and checks through the big cyber coffins to find the humans. He can quite literally smell them. Now inside the suits, this quartet are terrified, and quite rightly, but never mind. We're about to go through the boundary, so Cyberman with a very lonely attention span buggers off. Whew, close flipping call though. Ryan, Ethan, and Koshamas are fighting off the Cybermen using turrets, exploding basketballs, and good old-fashioned guns. However, Ethan is captured and our 2 remaining humans have been given 10 seconds to give themselves up or he dies. They come running, but shots are fired. Ethan didn't make it. Except he did, because the Cybermen holding him hostage were killed by 4 others. 4 others who turned to be Yaz, Graham, Rovio, and Yedlami. That's his name. Wait, but you 4 were still on the ship, about to go through the boundary. Sure, since they were in the cyber suits and the other 3 were being attacked by Cybermen, we saw this meeting coming from a mile off, but there was no lead-in at all. The last we saw was Yaz crying behind a mask. Even just a from the suit and Rovio commenting on the suit teleport being ready would have sufficed. Instead, we got a slightly jarring transition to where we are now. Could have just been left on the cutting room floor, like when Lone Lad had a quite literal face-to-face with a baby, and then with the Doctor on the other side of the house like that much later. I think the lead into this reunion could have been done a little bit better. Up, first dip is in the red. Whoops, down. That's where we are with those 7 folks. Now, back to Gallifrey. I wanted to get all of this stuff out of the way before we talk about the big stuff. We have a lot to talk about. The Master traps the Doctor in a paralysis field and proceeds to send both of their consciousnesses into the Matrix. The Matrix, if you don't recall, is a big Time Lord computer, a database. Everything any Time Lord has ever done is uploaded there, and it's that clever it can predict the future and write prophecies. Remember, we visited the cloisters on Gallifrey where the Matrix is and guarded? Creepy things called sliders did their thing and slid around. Anyway, we begin with Tech-Tayun, an explorer from Gallifrey of old. She was from the indigenous race of Gallifrey, the Shobogans. Yeah, she was Gallifrey's first astronaut, basically, as she was the first to explore beyond the planet in a rickety old spaceship. Now, on her travels, she found a gateway. Beneath it, she found a child, supposedly having fallen through and now lost. She adopted her and took her home. After playing with a fellow Shobogan, the child fell off a cliff. As you do when you're a kid. Remember when you fell off your first cliff? Oh, I do, definitely. But rather than dying, she regenerated, something the Shobogans didn't naturally do. So Tech-Tayun did what any mother would do. She experimented on her. Yeah, she wanted to find out how she regenerated and how she could use it herself. This took multiple regenerations of the child to get right, and when she was sure she had it, she tried it on herself. Lo and behold, it worked. She regenerated, so the Citadel was built. Those who resided there were given the ability to regenerate only 12 times by decision of Tech-Tayun, now himself, and they became Time Lords. So far, so explanatory. This is how Time Lords came to be. So what's so bad about it? Well, testing on a child, yeah, not great, but where is the timeless child now? Well, plot twist of the biggest degree, it's the Doctor. She is the timeless child. Boom! Who saw this coming? A bloody mile off. Show of hands. The fact the girl we saw in those visions throughout the series ended up being the Doctor really wasn't that big of a surprise, or is that just me? As much as we're dipping in the red again before we go green, it's another down for me. It's not all bad, as I've said this whole episode, it's just these first points on the board have been a bit blech. Again, was it just me thinking the timeless child was the Doctor was like really predictable? Comments. Trust me, there's going to be a lot of comments this week. Meanwhile, the physical Master is meeting up with Captain Lonely. I mentioned that it's the Doctor and the Master's consciousnesses in the Matrix at the Mo. Their physical selves are still alive in the Matrix chamber on Gallifrey. Okay, so here's the thing. The Master wants to team up with Lone Lad, but why? Because he wants the Cybermen, of course. The Master has gobbled up as much of the Matrix as he can to be all clever, so why not gobble up the second best database in the universe aside from probably the Dalek hive mind, the Cybermen? After the haunting of Villa Diodati, we know that Lonely Boy here has the silver goop in him, but he has his own plan. Destroy all organic life so that pure machine becomes the dominant species. How? The death particle. It's been in his chest the entire time and it's only been mentioned now. Okay, more on that later. The Master points out a pretty obvious flaw in the plan though. Cybermen are partially biological, right? Well, not the ones under Lone Lad's control. Remember he did something last week to make him scream, I asked for your theories? Turns out he was de-biologicaling them. That's a word, yeah. Similar to what the Doctor said before, that little bit of biology, that human even, gives you that edge. Pure robot gets you nowhere. Any idiot could make a robot, so he offers his help. That help consists of miniaturizing Lone Lad and taking the Cybermen for himself. Bye-bye. The Master then takes a moment to consider that shrinking him might have actually set off a death particle, killing all of remaining life on Gallifrey in one go. He's actually kind of gutted it didn't happen. Sure, he'd have screwed his grand scheme, but he'd have still killed the Doctor, etc. Take the borderline insanity of John Sims' Master and take away the copious amount of thinking that he does before it. That's Sacha Dhawan's Master, and I love it. I love him. Up for you again, sir. I am truly happy we got to see more of you. Though I would also like to know how you escaped the Kasavan realm and where you fit into the Master's chronological timeline, but yeah. He absorbs the Cybermen and now he is the Super Master. Back in the Matrix, the Doctor wants to know more. She and the Master find themselves by that stone platform the TARDIS key was on when they first revealed that they were going to reveal the 13th Doctor in that trailer back then, remember? Anyway, cut to the timeless child sat by Tech-Tayun with her. No idea, not important yet. They are part of the Division. No, not Tom Clancy's Sidney Newman's. They've developed time travel and they know not to intervene. Sometimes, though, they have to. So, she proposes a series of tests. We see blips to Brendan. Irish Brendan from last week. Brendan who can't die, Brendan. He was the timeless child. Look, Tecteun and that woman, they're mirroring the positioning of the father and the constable. Tests, they say? Then it just all goes white. This part of the Matrix is super encrypted. My theory time. Time travel is discovered. The don't step on a butterfly or you'll kill your granddad rule kicks in. This woman, presumably maybe an early version of Gat, maybe, along with Tecteun, take the timeless child, or TC for short, to different times and places and test how time travel affects history and or the future. However, to keep the playing field level, TC's memory is wiped after each test. That's why we saw old Brendan, along with his ageless father and boss, get his mind wiped. Sound about logical? Comments? Back in reality, the Master is Cyberiumed up and his master plan is revealed. He didn't kill everyone. They're just on ice. He's now built himself a private army of regenerating Time Lord Cybermen. Kinda dumb, yeah, I mean just look at them, but just go with it. These guys are unstoppable, quite literally unstoppable. He's gonna take over the damn universe, as he always wants to. He parades away and the Doctor finds herself back in the Matrix, this time opposite Ruth. Here she is again. They monologue away at each other. Monologue because they're technically the same person, and the Doctor realizes she can escape the situation by overloading the Matrix with the memories that she still has. She's currently stood amidst her wiped or sort of encrypted hidden memories. So she remembers everything, every face she wore, every enemy defeated, every friend made along the way, including those extra faces shown during the 1976 episode The Brain of Morbius. They actually got quite a prevalent slot in this sequence, so they are now canon. Playing the Doctor Who theme over the top was a bit on the nose in my opinion though. She breaks out and lies unconscious on the floor as our 7 friends find her. They passed through the boundary to find and save her, so here they are. Here's the plan. We blow up the cyber carrier. But the new Cybermen can regenerate, so that's not going to do jack. So, we use something. Something. What's that thing that's obviously been bugging the Doctor, staring her in the face since the last episode? She hasn't stopped talking about it. Oh, the death of everything is within me. But what does that mean? Something Lone Cyberman said. Rovio pipes up saying there's this myth surrounding the Lone Cyberman, the death particle. Oh, that would have been nice to know forever ago, Rovio. Forever ago, Rovio. T-shirt. Use that, all biological life on the planet it's activated on goes up, yada 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 yada. We've been over this. So, new plan, get the mini Lone Cyberman. I don't have one here, but yep. Particle's still in there, all good, and strap it to one last explosive that hasn't already been planted on the ship. Sweet. But this one has to be manually detonated, and the rest of them are all about to go off. Run. Ship goes bye-bye, so all the normal Cybermen are gone, and now our 8-man team is in a fresh TARDIS. The Doctor calls to the Master to meet her back in the Matrix chamber alone, ready to kill him, herself, and the Immortal Army. This TARDIS is set to send everyone back to the 21st century Earth, where they'll be safe. Very parting of the ways, this. Yaz puts up a fight, but Ryan has finally caught on. Don't bother, do as she says. First time he said something useful in, a season. The Master did bring a +1, or a few. Bastard. The Doctor is about ready to wipe them all out, herself included. Definitely parting of the ways, not a mini delta wave you're holding there, eh, Doctor? But she hasn't got the balls to go through with it. Actually. All hope is lost, except Ko-Shamus rocks up and takes it from her. Turns out, he was part of the group that sent the Cyberium back through time and space. Huh. The Doctor pegs it. Ko-Shamus is shot to bits, but he still hits the button. He, the Master, and the Cyberlords are wiped out, along with technically all of the on-ice Time Lords, and the Doctor makes it out in the nick of time. So, similar to Can You Hear Me, we're up against seemingly unstoppable foes, but we can defeat them easy as pie. Even then, we're using an object that has technically been present since the haunting of Villa Diodati, but hasn't been given a proper introduction until we needed to use it to win the day. Ugh. Convenience at its best, I think. Even if the Master tried to use it himself only for the Doctor to tinker with it and then it backfiring on him, that would have made at least a little bit more sense, or just made the whole thing a little better. Down. So both our TARDISes land. The first one, housing our companion trio along with Rovio, Ethan, and Yedlami. Get it? Housing? Because it's a house? Yes, it looked stupid when it arrived, but canonically, that's bang on the money. These TARDISes are fresh AF, so their chameleon circuits work perfectly. Nice touch there, Chris. They're back on 21st century Earth, and that's it. Get on with your lives. As far as they're aware, the Doctor is dead. However, she lands her tree back on the planet they found themselves on at the beginning of the last episode. She picks up her TARDIS, who actually seems pretty excited to see her, which is quite cute. But then, somebody got a 25 kill streak. The Modern Warfare 2 nuke alarm is going off, and 3 Judoon teleport into the TARDIS control room, identifying the fugitive. Technically, they never caught the Doctor back in episode 5, but now they have. Zap! The Doctor is behind bars and the credits roll. Oof. That was an abrupt ending across the board. That was The Timeless Children, the episode, at least. What has now been brought to the table has changed Doctor Who for better or for worse. Or has it? Yes, we got the big lore-changing moment we were all being teased, or force-fed via social media as the BBC like to do things now. The Doctor does indeed have a past prior to Hartnell, a big past. She is the origin of her species. That is huge. And there are still a ton of questions we have, but that's not something we'll get into here. A lot of people have been very angrily tweeting about this huge revelation, and as you know from the ups and downs I had from episode 5, I was definitely frightened for Who canon too. Did we need this information? Did we need this backstory? No. But has it actually gone and negated everything the Doctor has done since we first met him back in 1963? No. Seriously, take a step back. Does the Doctor being the Timeless Child actually outright ruin the events of the last 57 years? No, it doesn't. Chibnall has done what I thought was impossible. He's added to Who lore without ballsing everything up. And credit where credit is due, up. No, we didn't need to see any of this. The show would have been absolutely fine without it. But contrary to angry tweeters, he hasn't outright ruined the show. You'd never thought I'd say that, did you? As said, there are a ton of questions to be asked, something I'll probably put into another video, or at least an article over on whatculture.com. But another thing the Timeless Children did so well was answer so many questions. The Timeless Child's identity and origin, how Ruth's Doctor actually exists, who Brendan was, why the Cybermen were headed to Gallifrey. Most things were covered. Credit where credit is due. Up. At this point, we're at 3,000 words in the script. The longest ups and downs yet. Hence why I'm not going to delve into too much sort of theory and questions and lore and bits and pieces in this video. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. Blimey, there is a lot to talk about, so please subscribe to What Culture here on YouTube to not miss out on any future Who content. And there'll be even more to read over on whatculture.com, as I've already said. So come the festive season, we have got Revolution of the Daleks to look forward to. And if you keep up with any kind of behind-the-scenes stuff, regarding Doctor Who at least, the Daleks being back isn't actually huge news, as they were spotted filming on a bridge in Bristol. Also, spoilers for potential, well, spoilers for filming location stuff. Are you gone if you don't want to know about it? Maybe a new breed of special weapons Dalek is coming. My favourite Dalek from 1988's Remembrance of the Daleks, best Doctor Who story ever made, Shush, has a son. Oh, it's going to be lovely. The Daleks are my fave. Whether it's going to be Christmas or New Year, we don't 100% know yet, but apparently the BBC are still working out when it'll be broadcast. But I would love it to be Christmas rather than New Year's Day, because please give me a Christmas special. Christmas was so empty without Doctor Who a couple of years ago. Please. So yeah, after all of that canon making or breaking reveal, I want to know your thoughts in the comments section below. As you can see, we are sitting on a pretty neutral 3 for 3, and as much as I didn't outright hate The Timeless Children, I didn't exactly adore it from beginning to end either. As said, what has been done doesn't outright destroy Doctor Who lore like some people are saying it has. But if it's built upon in such a way that messes with the established timeline since An Unearthly Child, then it's absolutely not okay. If Graham, Yaz, and Ryan turn out to be the trio from The Division, leading on from Graham almost flubbing and saying he was the Doctor last week, I'm a kick chibs in the chibs. Anyway, that's about all we have time for. I'm going to leave you to write your essays in the comments section below. And that is also another series of ups and downs done. Whew, hopefully the wait till the next episode won't be too long, but I'm sure we'll have more Doctor Who videos coming your way very soon. I would actually like to do an ups and downs for the series as a whole, something I didn't do last series. So again, please subscribe not to miss out. As always, I have been your resident Whovian, your go-to for Doctor Who, Rich. I am on Twitter at PickupChangeToe. I can't wait for another Dalek story there, my Bezzy mates. But I do have Doom Eternal to keep you company until then. Thank you all so much for putting up with this absolute beast of an essay and this idiot rambling away for Christ knows how long this episode's been going on for. Take care of yourselves out there. You do matter. And I will see you again, hopefully, very soon. Bye.